Good night. Have one done tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Summer J. Spirits Divine. I'm here to give you some news on tonight. Um, there are two more Memphis officer have received a duty after death of Tyree. Now you know we know about the fire. So there were two more was pronounced. Um, uh, was on the scene. Excuse me. That was on the scene. No. So the Memphis Police Department announced that two more officers had been relieved from duty following the fatal beating of Tyree Nicholson, bringing the total number of officers involved in the initial traffic stop to seven. You know, so so when we saw the video, they did have more than five officers on scene. And so the one that really had went to his car when they stopped him at the traffic, that was not the five guys that we saw that they arrested. So that person was just not announced today that who approached him in a car at the traffic light. You know, what she the one to vote, he the one to vote, the one with the taser. But with this not being announced. So there are more fallout following the release of the video and multiple videos, last week showing the brutal beating. And it is so much coming up, just like the fire department. They both saw them on the video. And he fired three of his employees. It was so many people there when someone could have said, stop beating this guy or let's get him some medical attention. So one of the cops said, never present at the second scene. So one cop said, I wasn't present at the second scene, but he is cooperating with this investigation. So it doesn't matter if you wasn't there at the second scene, you was there at the first scene. You know, this man could have still been alive. If someone would have just stop beating her, or what the cause of what he did. So it doesn't matter. You wasn't at the second scene. You was at the first scene. If anybody was at the first, the second, the third scene, someone should have said something. So it doesn't matter if you wasn't at the second scene. You was at the first scene. Someone should have to stop the beating and call for some medical attention. So Memphis Fire Department said three of his employees, he spotted on the video. So his people was there, witnessed the beating. They act like this was just a game or something. This young man died. And all these people was there seeing him getting beaten like this. So they have been fired following the investigation. So the fire department, everybody watched the video. So he saw his employees there. So I can't imagine what the family is going through. Can't imagine what the family is going through. The latest officer who was released of the duty was not fired or charged. So it was more than five people on scene. When we saw the video, we like, look at all these people at the scene. Smoking cigarette and talking how he stomped him. They act like that was just a toy, a play toy or something. So everyone who was there, they witnessed or involved. All should have the same treatment as well as the other five officers. So everyone that was on that video, the five guys were fired and they were charged, but the other people that was on the video was not fired and they was not charged. So everyone that was on that video should serve the same, should get the same treatment. Should be fired and served like the other five guys. So everyone standing around watching, someone should have said, stop beating this guy. He need medical attention. They should have been fired and charged. They fired the other five guys, but the other people that was on the video did not get fired and did not get charged. So we just hearing about Penton, that he was involved. That was the first one went towards his car when they stopped him at the traffic light. So Princeton was the first one at Tyreek car. That video was from the body cam with footage of him. So that's how they knew it was him, because the body camera that we saw, the person went to the car, it came from his camera. So you stated you haven't released other names because there wasn't five. Because the family had asked, why all these people name didn't pop up. They said they didn't fire the other people. That's why they ain't brought their name up. They said they fired the five guys, so that's why they announced their name. So the name, because there wasn't fired, you only released the name who was fired. So the seventh officer was not fired, rather relieved of duty. So when they asked if Princeton, was paid or unpaid leave, they did not specify, but they have a knowledge that he was present at the first scene. He was the one who was deployed to taser. Because he had the taser in his hand. He the one went towards his car. So he was at the first scene. And they figured, well, I wasn't at the second scene. I was at the first. It doesn't matter. He was at the first or the second scene. Someone should have stopped the beating, and he could have lived. So they are saying that the investigation with Memphis Police Department internal affairs prioritized on interviewing officer and witness related to the second scene. First was the most aspect of the incident occurred. So they all saying, well, I was at the second, I wasn't at the first one. I was at the first, I wasn't at the second. It doesn't matter the first or the second. Someone could have stopped the beating, and this young man could have lived. So there should be additional charges. Now we should expect to see more personnel move in the coming days. It seems like you all have not did a full investigation. It seems like you have not done for the because we watching the video. The fire department was there. He spotted his workers on there. You have witnesses there. You have other cops that was there. We think it was just only the 5 people charged. When we saw the video, we saw multiple people was there smoking cigarettes and bragging how they stomped them and how they kicked them. So this person was not identified sooner, and these names are coming out due to the local community, black women on Twitter, saying that is the name of the officer in one of the incidents that is mentioned, and they say he used a tase at the scene. So if this person, they would have never known, and other people was at that scene. The community saw this person on Twitter, and they said they said, what happened to the one that had the taser? Because so that's how they knew it was other people at the scene, and that's when the family started questioning why everybody else have not got charged or got fired if they was at the scene. And then you got the person with the taser. So he was identified public, and they heard from someone on Twitter. The family want this individual and family attorney are calling for this officer to be immediately fired. And so the family wants the Memphis Police Department to release all the auto recalling immediately in important details. Because they just not found out about other people was at the scene. So it seemed like so many people was involved, but we only know the 5 officers. But even fire department saw 3 of his employees, on the camera, and he fired all 3 of them, right on the spot. So the EMT, the ambulance, they arrive on scene. They respond based on what the initial call was, for which the individual had been pepper sprayed, and they rely on that information in detail, the description from the officer at the scene. So now, when they call the ambulance, they say, we have someone had been pepper sprayed. They didn't say nothing about he was beaten, he was hurt, he was knocked out. They didn't tell them none of that. So when they came there, they're taking their time and talking to the officer, you know, because they said that was going by the call they received that someone just got pepper sprayed. So they figured that wasn't important. But still in all, when you came to the scene, you saw this young man pass out, couldn't stand up. Battle was breathing in and out of conscious. You know, and they're still just passing about, crossing all over, and one trying to get him no kind. Wasn't even trying to put him in the ambulance to take him to the hospital. Only if they would have took him to the hospital, give him some kind of medical attention, he probably would have lived. You know, so they failed to follow the basic protocol. You know, so it took quite a while for the ambulance to actually arrive on scene, and there have been questions about that because they took their time because they thought somebody just got pepper sprayed. You know, so even though the call, the information that he was just pepper sprayed, you know, but when you arrive, you see that he was more than being pepper sprayed. You know, you saw that he was passed out. He was in and out of conscious. He was knocked out. He couldn't even stand up. He was chained onto the car. You know, he was just beat down. He should have had got medical assistant, you know, before you even took him to the hospital, but they let him sit there for 20 minutes before they even put him in the car to take him to the hospital. You know, so there are additional cops that who was there of the death of Tyreek. You know, but there was not fired or charged. You know, so all who was there should have been fired and charged, but they all should receive the same treatment. You know, just like the five guys in there, all the rest of them should be serving the same treatment, the same charge. Now, the person first on the video, Princeton, who deployed the taser, but name just not being announced. You know, they're still not announcing anybody else's name. So the family heard about Princeton, local community. They heard about the community. The community saw a black woman on Twitter and was talking about it, saying they saw the video. They said, but what happened to the one that had the taser that was gone to his car? You know, so that's how that got out. So the ambulance arrived, they respond a call, and they received the information they got. The person been pepper sprayed, but what I said, when they got there, they should have had give him some kind of medical attention. They just crossed all over. You know, they just talking, smoking their cigarette. Like he wasn't even sitting down. You know, so all failed to follow basic protocol. You know, and the EMT still took 20 minutes before they put Tyrese in the ambulance to take him to the hospital. You know, so there wasn't a full good investigation because they were supposed to ask questions. They're supposed to ask people questions. Everyone that was at that scene, they're supposed to ask questions. You know, you got the fire department was there. They should have asked them some questions. All the rest of the officers that was there should have. Everyone at that scene was supposed to be asked questions. You know, because witness and additional cops' name are popping up now. When if someone, the community would have never saw that on Twitter, we still would have never know about the other cop. Besides, we did saw extra people on the video. You know, so all the cops who was there, you know, I request that they all receive the same charge and fire. It was just announced that the other cops were fired. You know, as I was doing, it said there was announced that the other cops was fired. You know, so that's all I know on that for right now. So there will be, you know, there should, and then also with the cops, chief, or anybody in the department, if you need to, we need to start doing a background check because just like these guys, you know, about to be disciplined on charges, but sometimes they get off of these charges, you know, and they go to another state and work. You know, and that's still not good because whatever crime or whatever they do here, they're taking the baggage along to another state. You know, so when we hire cops or anyone in the department, we need to do a background check for mental health, and also when they come from another state, what happened at that state. You know, because they're doing so much stuff in one state and hopping to another state. You know, so that was the news on that on Tyree Nicholson. That they announced other cops, was at the scene. Fire department was at the scene. The ambulance came, and they took this time because they thought they was coming to get somebody that just got pepper sprayed. But then when they arrived, they still seeing them knocked out, in and out of conscious. And still took 20 minutes to put him in a car to take him to the hospital. You know, so they said the other cops have been fired. But we'll see what else gonna happen after that. Because I spoke on yesterday. Some rules and policy for what should be happening. Background check. We need to do background check on mental health and also what state they come from. See what happened at the other state. So we the family, and everyone trying to have justice on Tyree Nichols and also on George Floyd. You know, uh, the police supposed to protect and serve. Not killing innocent people. You got to protect and serve the community. You got to protect and serve the nation. Whatever state you in, you have to protect and serve. You know, we have massive shootings going on in different states. That's what we have to concentrate on. You can't concentrate on somebody running a traffic light. We can't concentrate on somebody's jaywalking. We got to concentrate on this real crime that's going on out here. Massive shooting all in the school, teachers and all getting killed. That's what we have to concentrate on. We don't need to be concentrating on traffic lights and killing innocent people. You're not supposed to kill innocent people. You're supposed to protect and serve. You're supposed to deal with the real robbers and the real crooks that's out here. So that's all the news I have for you on tonight. And y'all have a blessed night. I see y'all in the next video.